Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I think we better try some. Hi, I'm Matt from True Bites, and today we're going to be making bacon jam. Right, to make this bacon jam, we're going to need a kilo of bacon misshapes, and for this one I'm going to be using smoked misshapes, which you can get from the True Bites website. We're going to need a little bit of olive oil for frying the onions and the bacon. We're going to need 3 onions, 4 garlic cloves, some chilli powder, a couple of sprigs of rosemary, soft brown sugar, a bottle and a bit of beer. For this one I'm going to be using Banksy's bitter. We need some malt vinegar, maple syrup, and maybe a bit of salt and pepper. So here we go. So we've got 1 kilo of smoked bacon misshapes, which we're going to dice up here and fry up in this heavy based casserole dish, I guess. We'll just get this preheating, and I'm going to splash in some good old olive oil. Time to dice this up. Try and keep it pretty small, because you're going to have to blend all this together later on. I've picked out any big chunks of fat and that I didn't want to put in there. Diced it up. Whilst the bacon's just browning off there, I'm just going to dice these onions up nice and small. So we've got those 3 onions diced up nice and small, and we're just cooking off that bacon still. Want that a little bit more brown than that, and we've got to evaporate some of this water that's coming out. So that bacon's not a dry cured product or anything like that, so there is a bit of water that's going to cook out. So most of that water in there is evaporated now. We've just got to brown it off. Right, you can hear that sizzling away nicely. I think that's browned enough, to be honest, and we've got some nice fat rendered out as well, which is going to be nice for cooking these onions in and that. So I'm just going to scoop that out now. Turn the heat down as well, because cooking onions in here next, and we don't want to cook them too high because they're just going to burn. I'm going to cook them nice and slowly so they soften off and let the sweetness out, but we don't want to burn them. Remember, these are smoked bacon bits as well, so that's going to be nice and smoky, that fat. So we want to keep that in if we can. And try not to eat any of this bacon. Try not to eat all of this bacon before it goes in the jam. Time for the onions. Try not to get these everywhere. Most of them in. So I've turned the heat right down on this. We're going to cook these for a good 10 minutes until they're nice and soft. We don't want to burn them, obviously, because that'll give your jam an horrible bitter burnt taste, so we don't want that. Whilst them onions are just cooking down, I'm going to chop these garlic up nice and fine. Here's 4 I peeled earlier. Just get them ready. We'll add this garlic in once the onions are cooked down. If you put the garlic in too early, you're going to burn the garlic before the onions are cooked, so you want to cook the onions first really, and then get the garlic in just for a couple of minutes. So these onions have been cooking for a good 10 minutes, so they're nice and soft. They're looking about ready, so chuck in the rest. We'll chuck in what's next anyway, not the rest. So we've got the garlic. There's 4 cloves there. I'm going to chuck that in. 2 sprigs of rosemary. A teaspoon of chilli powder. This is a hot one, so chuck that in. We're going to cook that for probably 1 to 2 minutes just to release some of them flavours before we chuck in the, I think it's time for the beer. Well, basically everything else, I think, really. Give that a couple of minutes. Yes, you can really smell the garlic and the rosemary cooking nice in there now. So we're going to chuck in an old Banksias and that bitter. Quite a bit of this going in. There's a little bit more as well, and the rest of the second bottle is mine to drink. Put the sugar in. I need to put that bacon back in. Probably should have put that in before the beer. Maple syrup. This is the malt vinegar. We've also got to add 500 ml of water. That's your water. So we've got to get it boiling, and then we've got to simmer it for a good 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Right, so we're boiling up nicely. I'm just going to turn the heat down and let it simmer for a good 45 minutes. Thicken it up. Right, so this has been simmering for probably a couple of hours, to be honest, because I got distracted watching the football, but it's got a nice colour. It's reduced down quite a lot. So, to be honest, I think that's probably ready for blending. So I don't want to put it in the blender this warm. So I'm going to leave it to cool. Probably 20 minutes, half an hour, then we'll blend it up and put it in jars. So, whilst we're waiting for the jam to cool down a little bit, I'm going to get these jars in the oven, get them nice and warm. This will basically sterilise them, which will mean your jam will last longer. Put that on about 100 degrees, I think, for 15-20 minutes. I think we'll finish off the rest of the Banksias. Cheers. We'll get ready to do some blending. First things first, got to get these sprigs of rosemary out. Get some of this in here and see how this blending up goes. Still looks a bit runny, to be fair, so hopefully it's going to thicken up once we've blended it. See how we get on with that. Yeah, that's much better. See, there we go. Much thicker. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right, I think. There we go. That's ideal. Let's get some in this jar here, and then it's just a case of rinse and repeat until you've done all the jam. So I did have it all jarred up, but to be honest, it was still a bit runny once it had cooled down. So I banged it all back in the pot, and I've had it simmering on a much higher heat now for probably about 90 minutes. And as you can see, it's much thicker. It's much more of a jam-like consistency. So that looks done to me now. So I'm going to jar it up. The finished article, I did actually get one more jar full than I've got here, but I've actually given that away already to a friend who's a big fan of the bacon jam. So should we get a jar open so we can show you what it's like? There we go. So it's nice and thick, got a good jam-like consistency. get a knife in and... Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I think we better try some. So, I think we better give it a test, haven't we? So I've got some toast. I'm just going to give it a tester. Give it a tester on some toast. This is good for, obviously, crackers, stuff like that on toast. Good with cheese on toast. Excellent on burgers. Absolutely excellent on burgers. To be honest, just eating out of the jar is pretty good. So there we go. I'm hoping you can see that. Let's give this a go. Oh yeah. Really sweet, obviously. Sticky. Nice little bit of smoke. I was hoping for a bit more smoke flavour off the smoked bits, but a little bit of smoke. Beer's coming through. Nice bit of rosemary. I mean that is good. Very good. Excuse me while I finish the rest of this off, because that is really good. If you fancy giving it a go, give it a go. I don't think you'll be disappointed. You get I got a good five jars from that batch, so it's a bit of effort, but you get a lot of jam afterwards, and it's very good. Good for gifts as well. I make it probably once a year. Give a couple of jars away for Christmas. Obviously, keep a couple for yourself because you're going to need it. But give it a go.